I've got it.
Yep, there you go.
All right, so good evening, everyone. We're going to call the meeting to order. It is 6:01. I will do a roll call, and then we will introduce our topic, put a motion on the floor to discuss, and get this moving. So first, let's see, I've got Representative Bailey.
Here.
Representative Kopp.
Here.
Representative Semeraro.
Here.
I'm here, Representative Gothier. So just make a note of who wasn't here. Also in attendance, I have Moderator Rusk, Jennifer Neely.
You got it. You got it.
Okay. And Sean Greeley, both from the library. So I will entertain a motion to accept the, is there an acronym, PETGIA? I'm actually trying to. PETGIA. Okay. PETGIA grant for library tech services. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Representative Kopp, in a second.
Second.
Representative Semeraro. Okay, so now we can open up the discussion. Sean, would you like to discuss this, or Jen?
Sure, I guess I can if you want, Jen.
Okay.
So the PETGIA grant really stands for Public Education and Governmental Programming and Education Technology Investment Account. Really big mouthful. That's why they call it PETGIA. It's put out by Deep's Pura division, and it really originally started back in around 2008 or so, where there were a lot of third parties that were starting to take over public access, community access. They also had, they also realized that streaming services were coming along and starting to lower the amount that money they could get through subscribers. So they opened up these PETGIA grants. Basically, there's a small surcharge, I think, on cable and video service provider bills. I want to say, I can't remember what the exact number is. It's probably $1 over a year. It's a very small amount, but built up over time, over a year, it generates some money. And so they will open that up to, originally they opened it up to community access providers, that would be public education government access programming providers, which we are a government programming provider with GMTV. Also with the education part of Board of Ed, they're an education access channel as well. Somewhere in the mid to late 2000 teens, they opened it up to education technology, so they could include public schools districts. And so that's where you kind of get the last half of that education technology investment account. And so now school districts are allowed to apply for that as well. We have, it really is to, for these organizations and school districts to have a fund that they could purchase equipment with. You know, technology moves along. It doesn't take long for equipment to get dated in the video and streaming world these days. And so the grants are really dedicated toward that. And that's kind of what we've been applying for. This is the 4th time we've applied for it. We applied back in 2009 or 2010 to outfit the council room with PTZ cameras, the robotic cameras that you see, and also a switching recording system that we used for a good 9 or 10 years, which is a long time for that kind of a system. We also applied, I believe, in 19, and then we also applied last year. So last year we applied for to replace our switching and recording systems, in particular to replace the town council system from back in 2010, and also our studio recording and switching system. And we also were trying to update our badly needed editing systems. We actually have 2 computers dedicated toward editing video, and they require kind of higher end processing, higher end video cards, sound cards, everything. And ours were ancient. They were like 10 years old, which they really couldn't keep up with the HD world that we're in right now. So last year we applied for, I want to say, around 113,000 which is not the maximum that you're allowed to apply for. You're allowed to apply for 150,000. We applied for 113, but due to the amount of people that applied or groups that applied and the amount that was in the fund, they reduced that amount. And they had a formula of how they dealt that out. Something like if for the first 25%, you got 100% of what you were asking for, then between 25 and 50%, you got maybe half or three quarters, and then 50 to 100%, maybe you got another 25%, and that was it. So we got about $44,000 last year, which was the highest amount that they granted. There were only 5 other organizations that got that amount, so we were very thankful that we got that amount. That allowed us to replace actually a couple of our switching systems and one editing system. So it wasn't quite what we were looking for, but any help was good help. So we were very, very gracious and happy that we got it, and it's in use today. We are actually using it right now up the council room with a brand new streaming system. That's what you're seeing on YouTube, the cameras, and the recording and streaming, and then our editing system. What a difference! We actually have one editing system that doesn't stall out and restart and take us forever. It has really increased our speed to be able to get programming out. So we were very grateful. So this year we are applying for the other half of what we did not get, and we wanted to get a second system because there's many times that we have multiple programs going where we're actually editing 2 things at the same time, or sometimes we have to render things out that take a long time. And it's going to allow us to do some collaboration with video editing where, maybe I might be working on graphics while our tech Patrick might be doing some editing on a project that we're actually going to both contribute to through the cloud these days, which is great. So it's going to help our speed quite a bit. We're also in that same time, we're also looking to upgrade and update our teleprompt system that we have in the studio. It is very old, so old the software does not work with Windows 10 or 11. And so we're taking Word documents and trying to use those as our teleprompt software, which is not a very good thing, and people really can't see it. And we also want to increase the screen size. However, if we increase the screen size, we have to increase the support for the camera because it adds weight to the tripod that's in the studio. And with the one that we have right now, it barely can hold up the smaller one that we have now. So it's going to take a pedestal type of a tripod that will hold this teleprompt system and the camera and allow us to move it around without worrying about breaking the tripod. So those are the 2 big components. There are some other things in there. We want to get an additional PTZ camera for the RTM setup that we have. We only have 2 over there right now. We have a new recording system from the last one. So we want to add to that with another PTZ. We have over 40 people sometimes that we're trying to get pictures of. And it can be kind of challenging when you only have 2 without have the zip cameras around on screen and making people at home watching their 65-inch TVs watch a camera go 100 miles an hour to the next person and getting seasick on their couch. So, or in front of their computer at home to watch it streaming. So we want to be able to do that a little more smoothly. There's some other peripheral things. We've got a lens for our DSLR camera, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's I think it was around just under $2,000. Good lenses do cost a lot of money. So we want to get an improved lens for that. We want to upgrade our GoPro. We have a GoPro 4. It's okay, but it does not have a lot of the features of the new ones that would be very useful to us. It also doesn't have some of the updated things for remote control. So if we want to, say, put it on a senior that's kayaking out in BV Cove, which we did do, but we had to actually have people trigger it themselves, which didn't really work all that well. We can actually trigger it through an app on our phone and stop it and make adjustments through our phone app without having to be right next to it. We could be 100 feet away from it and be able to do that. We're also looking to update our drone. We do have a drone that we use here at the library that's about 5 years old, and we use that as another tool. I know people think that it's kind of a toy, but it's really not. We use it to enhance a lot of our videos to make them look professional. We typically will use them. We've used them for the police video, recruitment video. We've done some economic development things with it, clean waterways, things with the seniors when they were kayaking. We actually followed them out over the cove, gave people a different perspective. So it's a very useful tool, and today a lot of videos utilize drone footage. The one we have is pretty good. There are a couple things that are going on with drones these days. For one, in February, our drone will not be in compliance unless they make it in compliance with a third-party device for remote identification. So far, ours has not been on there. I am hoping that is. I was kind of hoping it would already be there by now, but we have not heard word that they're doing our particular drone updating with a third party or some software upgrade. So you know, we know the new ones do have them, and we want to have that remote ID. And basically, what remote ID is that the FAA can see you, the airport can see you, other planes can see you, which is a good thing, particularly since we have an airport right next door to us that we have to pretty much get approval for every time we lift off our drone. I am FAA certified. I have a commercial FAA license to fly UAVs, and if we are out, I have to be in control of that drone or be next to it to be able to grab control of that drone. So I'm in charge of that drone as long. And Liam was also a certified FAA UAV pilot as well. There is a large course that you have to go through. You still have to go through it. You have to take a proctored test. It's not as easy as you think. You have to know things that I never thought I would ever have to know. I have to know runway stripes. I have to know how planes turn, land, so that I can predict what they're doing if I see a plane. I have to know where I am on the food chain in the sky, which is the very bottom. Everything takes priority over me, including a balloon. A hot air balloon would take priority over me. So I would have to set down for it. There are no fly zones. There are places where we cannot fly. People keep asking me to get certain golf course pictures. I cannot do that because we are literally, that golf course is right on top of the airport. There is a portion of the golf course that I could get up 100 feet, but I have not really had the need to go over there and take pictures of it. The pictures that you do see was during the pandemic, and they had to shut down the airport for some reason. I think they were resurfacing or something for like 8 hours. And I heard about it about halfway through, and I called the airport manager and said, "Can I please go up?" And he said, "Yes, but you have to be down by 4." So I was down by 4, but I got some good pictures. I wish it was a little greener, but we did get some golf course pictures, which you see on the website as well. So we do use it as a useful tool. It's not just a toy. We do practice with it a bit. We practice in areas where we can't hurt anything. I usually practice in a beach area, usually when Esquire Point Beach is not at its peak. Usually in the off season, and usually over water. So if it falls, it's only going to hurt a fish. It'd probably be the first fish I caught, and because I can't really catch good fish. I'm terrible at fishing. So, but anyways, so we do use that quite a bit. So that's fairly expensive, and we want to get. And the newer ones also will stay up in the air. They have better object avoidance, better lenses. There's a bunch of things that is better than ours. Anything's 5 years old, you know, it's not going to be as good as today. So could we use ours? Possibly. I am hoping that by September we'll have a remote ID solution. So, but in the meantime, we put up for a grant. Hopefully we'll upgrade our drone as well. So that's pretty much it. We have already applied for this grant. They're not going to. Today was the last day you could apply for it. We will probably not hear until April. There's probably about 100 other applications in there as well, including the Groton School District. They have also applied where they're looking to put in some video equipment in all the schools. I think they applied for roughly $81,000. So you know, hopefully we both will be able to grant. They will not be competing grants because they are going under the education technology portion of that. you have to indicate if you're going to be a PEG applicant or an education applicant. They are an education applicant. So that's pretty much the quickie version. I don't know if I left anything out, Jen.
No, I just want to say that it's something that Sean actively pursues, tries to pursue every single year. Because as you can see, this equipment gets very expensive and it adds up very quickly. And rather than asking townspeople to have to continually upgrade, Sean finds ways to do that by looking at various grants to ensure that the access channel is fully up to date on all the technology and finding the funding for it. So kudos to him.
And not to sound like I'm tooting my own horn, but since about 2009, we've probably gotten about $250,000 in grants to upgrade equipment, and we've received those. So we are actively looking at that. We actually got a neighborhood revitalization grant probably about 5 years ago to convert all our studio lighting into LED. And that was about a $77,000 grant award. So I'm always looking for sources to do that.
Sorry, I'm trying to take notes and listen. Are there any questions from committee members? Nope. Sean or Jen, will this create any risk or obligation for the town? No. No matching funds, nothing like that?
No.
Okay. Any other questions from representatives? Moderator Rusk?
I don't have a question. I just want to say thank you, Sean, for going after this year after year after year. I know it's made a huge difference, so thank you.
Thank you.
I'll second that, Jill.
Yeah. All right. So on that, I will call the vote. All in favor? Aye.
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 All right. All opposed? Abstaining? Great. Looks like that passed unanimously. Thank you so much for your time, Jen, Sean, everyone else.
Great to see all of you. See you again
See ya.
soon.
See
Thank
ya.
you so
Bye.
much.
Thanks.
Very soon. Bye-bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thanks, Lauren.
Yep,
Thanks.
thanks.